Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's 5-Minute Life Hack. You have me today, so no guests. But I wanted to follow up and just give a little bit of detail, and then we'll dive right in. So 5-Minute Life Hack is something very important to both Mike and I. And the reason is because we care what your life is like outside of work. We care that we're helping and we're assisting and we're transferring knowledge and we're all helping each other to build ourselves up. We know work is just a part of life. I think it's a critical part of life, and especially staying healthy long term. But we know it's only a part. And so this is a way we can kind of reach out, touch, hopefully get some good messages across that we've learned or are being taught or are learning for the 10th time. And hopefully once in a while one strikes you and hits you in the right moment, and it helps you be a better person, be more humble, hungry, smart, all those things that we talk about internally. But today we're going to talk about the power of the pause. And at the end, we're going to talk about one of my 2 favorite quotes of all time. So some of you have heard it in trainings and things, but I just can't get enough of it. So I think it's fantastic. And the other thing is sometimes we pick topics based on what hits us personally, and that is 100% the case today. Power of the pause. This is a lesson that I think hits me a lot because I don't do this as well as maybe I could or should. And so let's dive in, and we'll talk about a few things that I found interesting over the last few weeks. So here's a quote. It says, "Practice the pause. Pause before judging. Pause before assuming. Pause before accusing. Pause whenever you're about to react harshly, and you'll avoid doing and saying things you'll later regret." We'll talk about a few other things, but I like that quote. I think it sets the baseline well, that pausing really helps the human brain and emotions catch up to each other, and we can then act in a way that we hope is a more thought out way to react, and not just letting our emotions control how we say or act or do things. Here are a couple things. We'll talk about a few of them, but what are good times to pause in our lives? One thing that I learned in college, well, let's talk about this one first. So before you answer a question is a good time to pause. Sometimes we get asked questions and we answer so quickly, we haven't given time to really think about what the question, the deeper meaning of the question, and what the person's actually seeking. So I had a wonderful professor in college who taught us this. We were preparing to give presentations to a bunch of professionals in the community. And it was a pretty high stress situation for us as, 19, 20-year-old college students. And what she said was really important. She said, if people ask a question, think about it. If you don't know the answer, that's okay. They're not going to expect you to be professionals. You're students. You're learning, right? And she said the worst thing you can possibly do is answer a question with just filler information or make up an answer. It's much better to be intellectually honest and just say, I'm not sure, or to pause, really understand the question. You can ask a question back to make sure you understand a clarifying question, or you can just go ahead and answer it. So anyway, I thought that was really good. We get asked questions all the time in meetings and from friends and other things, that it's not bad to pause for a few seconds and really try to understand what they're asking. Another one is before leaving your car after work, pause and reset, so you're the best person you are when you enter your home. This one I've learned again in the last couple of years, but my dad was really good at this one. He had a really stressful job. He was a social worker, deeply fulfilling, helping lots of people. But all day, every day, he sat down and listened to people's really deep, tough problems. And I think we never talked about this specifically, But I remember as a kid never knowing that my dad had a hard or stressful job. Never once. So somehow on the ride home or before he stepped in the door, he left his stress and his work in the car or at work, and he came home and he was a fully present dad. Now, that's hard enough, I think, for most of us. But when you had a job as tough as his, it's something I didn't appreciate when I was younger, but I sure appreciate now how difficult that is. And so I've kind of learned that again is when I get out of my car for the day and I'm ready to come back in, my responsibility is completely different when I'm at home versus when I'm at work. And I'm here to be supportive, loving, and be the best husband, father I can be. I try to do a lot of those things at work too, but there's a reset and a shift of energy a little bit. So I try to do that. Another one, this is kind of covered in the quote, before judging. So instead of judging, we all do it, right? Our brains just automatically go there. Just ask questions instead. You know, I try to do this, especially with my teenagers. I can tell or I assume they've been lazy or just haven't cleaned up. Instead, I just ask questions. Hey, did you realize the pan's still on the oven? And I ask it not in an accusatory way, but actually asking. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I had to run out and do this thing. And lots of times it's very legitimate and they're happy to do it. They just forgot or something came up. And so that's much better than starting a war by saying, oh, you always leave stuff. And anyway, so I like that. Before judging, just ask questions instead. Another one, and this we're all hearing about and trying to learn because we're all figuring this out for the first time, but pause before you pick up your phone for the day. Enjoy the silence instead. I really like that, and it's really hard to do. But I think there's going to be a lot of data that backs that up over the next few decades. And last one is when you feel your emotions escalating. So when you're getting frustrated, angry, that's when you have to pause. You have to take a break. Sometimes you have to leave the room. Sometimes you just need to pause for a second, take a deep breath, and try to calm those emotions down a little bit. And then this is the part that we'll dive into next, assume positive intent. So some of you have heard us talk about that, but this is the former CEO of PepsiCo. Her name is Indrid Nooyi, and she's phenomenal. She's from Indian descent. The background story to this quote is they asked a bunch of CEOs and business leaders what's the best advice they ever received. And she talked about her father and how her father was a wonderful human being and just a kind, great person, but also very thoughtful. And he gave her this advice. This is only a portion of it. I wish I had the full quote. I don't. But she says, whatever anybody says or does, assume positive intent. You'll be amazed at how your whole approach to a person or problem becomes very different. I've seen that 100% in my own life. And when somebody says something or does something, and I automatically assume something negative, even if it's meant to be negative, and I come back with positive intent, boy, it's amazing how that de-escalates the situation or how it calms the situation down. I'm not getting defensive. They don't escalate. Things just kind of work themselves out. I wish I did this all the time, right? This is why I'm talking about this stuff, because these are the things that I need to do better and I'm trying to figure out and learn for myself. But I love that. If you're bugged by somebody or somebody's really rubbing you the wrong way, assume positive intent. Assume they're not trying to. Maybe they just haven't learned some of those social skills or whatever it is. Anyway, I love that. So I hope that helps. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go enjoy and go make an impact. Thank you.